This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved. So it begins. Here we all are. Let me turn them on. Brilliant. Gulliver and Hengist.
Yeah, nothing from Gulliver.
Nothing. Hengist.
Nothing in particular from Hengist.
Well,
although I have just noticed that there is a sword on the top of the tavern. There's a sword on a bookshelf in the tavern. On the picture at the very bottom right-hand corner. I only just noticed that.
Yeah, that's a scimitar that Gulliver gave me. I've just put it there.
Yes, yeah.
I hadn't noticed it. It was just a comment.
Well, Hengist, although you had nothing planned, something you have to decide is actually happening, because it would appear that you live on the hill, you live in the place of the gentry, and you've been there for quite a few months now, and it's come to your attention that there seems to be a competition that is run every year, and the competition is quite simple. The houses try to beat each other by killing a boar, a giant pig. Now, the stories go that out there in the forest somewhere, there is the boar of all boars. They fondly call it Grandpa Boar, not because it's old and feeble, far from it, although some of its bristly fur is said to be tinted with grey. It is still the grandfather boar because of its pure size and strength. And every year, the houses of the noble area of Lindowe get together and go off to hunt this boar. And now, just to let you know, the main prize is for the lord of the house to have the killing blow. And it's about this time that the houses start to recruit, and they are allowed to recruit a small number of retainers to join in the glory of the boar hunt, or the great boar hunt as it's known. Now, this is a real honour. You don't actually you're not member of a house, because the houses are purely family lines. So although you could be a servant in the house, you can't actually be in a house. However, so you couldn't change your surname to match them or anything like that. However, there is quite a lot of prestige being part of a house. And what's happening now, a bit like hustings or a grand election, the noble houses of Lindowe are canvassing people to join their house for the great boar run. Now, actually in Lindowe, and you will all be able to see this in 1 second, because it's really annoying me that something's bold. and it shouldn't be. So I'll show you all of this in a second, so all the players can hear. And basically, there's 3 noble houses, okay, within Lindowe. The first one, I'm going to show you it all. So this is the information you've got here is from everybody contributing, almost like pulling in their contacts, talking away, talking to merchants, etc., etc. And you should be able to see now a list of the houses of the noble houses of Lindowe. Now, the first house, the house of the Macduffs. Okay,
We do.
and the Macduffs' wealth is based on the silk trade. They paid for the material to be imported from afar. It's interesting that nobody knows exactly where this was. And although they lost a huge amount of ships, this actually allowed them to inflate the price of the exotic cloth. And since then, the Macduffs have expanded even further, and they now do a whole range of materials and even exotic spices, which is really popular with the taverns in Lindowe, as well as in the noble on the noble hill. And this taste of the rich and famous has definitely grown, and they are now accustomed to the finer things in life. And so the Macduffs family wealth just keeps increasing and increasing. There's still a bit of a mystery where these things come from. They come in by ships, but where they sail from, you're not aware of that.
Do we know who the leader of House Macduff is now?
Yeah, it's the lady.
Ica?
Is it Ica?
I think so.
Or is
Oh,
it?
good
Or is it the other?
Because we didn't
the
pass
wife
another the last turns.
It's what, sorry?
Or is it the wife of? Is it Ica's mother who's now?
I don't think you met Ica's mother.
We've not met the mother.
No, we haven't. But we know
Mr.
that her
Macduff,
father's dead. So
Father's
it's-
dead, and Ica Macduff took it over.
Right. Okay.
Right, the House of Emery is somewhat of a mysterious house. It's never actually been clear where or how they gained their wealth. Now, despite this, generations have lived in luxury and enjoyed their final things of high society. It is rumoured that one of their ancestors actually discovered a hidden treasure hoard which belonged to one of the long departed dragons of Odess. Others hypothesize that the house has some kind of criminal alliance with some of the more disreputable merchants of Odess, one of which you probably have encountered. However, whichever theory you accept, you have to acknowledge that House of Emery is the richest family in Lindowe, with their wealth actually rivaling that of Count Bastian, the leader, the king of Odess. And finally, there's the House Galot. And if there was a house that you actually go to where they are known, for hard work and sacrifice, then it's definitely the House of Galot. Their wealth is spread over a range of areas, but mainly including metal, inventions and weapons. But despite those seem quite brutal trade, they are probably the most honest of the houses. They provide a range of items to the citizens of Lindowe for free at times, including fixing wagons for the poor and providing armaments free of charge for Count Bastian's militia. Although they are probably the poorest of the noble families, they are definitely the most just. everyone always has nothing but kind words for House Galot, although some do say that this makes them too good, if you get my meaning, or is that just jealousy? Now, those are the 3 houses, and I've told you about the Great Boar Hunt, and this is something, Hengist, that you have 2 options. You can either ignore it altogether, or you can choose which house to make your allegiance with for the Great Boar Hunt. Now, before you say, "Oh, I don't want to do it," this is part of the society. You know, everybody on Noble Hill is getting really exciting. I think people have got those things that you hit with a bat and it's got sweets in.
A child.
No, not a child. What do you call those things?
A pinata.
A pinata, yeah. There's those made up. There's Boar. Every noble house with their legions, any beast that they've killed before, you know, their heads are put up outside their houses. There's a great amount. And once you have aligned yourself, then the celebrations start. And this is a series of events up to the actual Great Boar Hunt. And then after it as well, with the winning house, the winning lord, actually celebrating with great feasts and partying for several weeks after. So you probably find is this something that you would like?
Hengist would be very interested in taking part in this, yes.
Yeah. Now, is it something that you would like to discuss with your adventuring party, which house to go with, or is Hengist going to make his decision by himself?
Ooh,
Or is it a case that you want to ask each one of your party and say, if you were in my position, which house would you go for and why? Listen to their responses and then make your decision. I like that option, by the way.
Hengist would put...
You don't have to take their advice. You could, of course.
No, well, that's very true. Hengist probably would mention it one of the times that they meet up in the Hairy Hobgoblin. He's got pretty much an idea of 1 or 2, which he would, of 2 of the houses he would join, but he would be interested in hearing.
Okay then. So Hazra, Bartleby, or Gulliver, which house do you think Hengist should actually join, and why?
I know nothing about these houses. They're just people in a city. They just, I don't know what they do. Let's maybe pick the one that I always go for the underdog.
So that would be House Galot.
Galot. Okay. That's very interesting, Hasbro.
Gulliver or Bartleby?
Bartleby, after thinking for a moment, would say, I've never heard anything bad about House of Galot.
Would that be his suggestion then?
That would be my choice. They seem the most just, the most down to earth.
And Gulliver?
I don't know a lot about houses and nobles, but from how you describe them, Hengist, well, House Galot seems just like a bigger version of your family at home, doesn't it? Weren't they the smallest of the noble?
They ended up that way. They did, yes, Gulliver. I mean, to be honest, I was thinking. Did they
not try to do the right thing, but got?
They did, and they got penalised for it quite heavily. But I was thinking either House Macduff or House Galot, but
I think
House Macduff, I had a bit of an awkward situation. in the fact that I made advances on the Lady Ica, and they were not received well.
We got a potion for that.
I think that was a different potion, Hazret. I think the potion that Annalyn was trying to peddle was for afterwards, not for gaining the hand of. But no,
I think you could probably gain that. So which one is Hengist?
Hengist will be joining House Galot because it sounds like an extension of himself currently, or the vision that he sees himself as aiming for is an extension of himself.
Fantastic. Well,
So
thank you
we'll be
for that.
joining them.
That's the next lot of adventures has gone down the drain because I thought you would go for Macduff. No,
No.
Oh no!
it's all right. I've actually got 3 adventures set up, one for each house. So no matter
I
which,
thought he would have gone.
Well, hang on. How can we do a multiverse?
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It'll be really at the end. I'll tell you what the others were, but we go with House Galot, and that's you can't change it now. So
No, no.
brilliant. So that's set it off nicely. So in the beginning of next adventure, you will be formally invited to one of the parties at House Galot. Your
Dance.
Is this a one-off adventure for Hengist?
No, Hengist,
Oh, right.
you have been told that you can bring your retainers with you. You know, the people that are under your
So it is going to be a one-off.
Hengist doesn't have any retainers.
No, leave me alone.
and the first thing I got
right.
I got a little job for you all between now and now. I think next week
Homework.
Longshanks EPG can't play. Is that right?
I'm not here next week.
Yeah, so we got next Saturday. Well, there'll be no game, and then the week after. By that, you need to have decided or purchased from the list your clothes, because obviously this is a fancy do. You cannot go in your armour.
What are you talking about, Willis?
So do have a look at the beginning of the next adventure. If anybody wishes to use haggling to buy it, then we can do that. But as long as you've got a list of what you've actually going to buy and wear, and if you want to get anything special, for example, Hazra, I don't think you can carry your spear in with you.
Can't I get my PJs? PJs and a spear.
No. So not even Bartleby can't even take his club, but you know, ornamental daggers.
Oh!
Is that a club in your
mad.
pocket, or are you just pleased to see me?
No, it's a potion.
Nichols is a walking stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So think about, and what I would do is
Oh.
put it onto your character sheet as a set of weapons and armor. Or equipment, so if again we ever need it in the future, you can sort of like exactly what you've got. Maybe make a note of whether or not it fits into your combat style, etc., etc. Okay then, so we will start next week at this point, or the week after, when we go off to a party in preparation for the Great Boar Hunt, which is the title of the next adventure. And just to let you know, I got this adventure idea while watching Chugga stream. So anyway, it is not my fault if somebody pulls out a shotgun. Can I just say it's nothing to do with me.
It's revenge of the boars, isn't it?
It's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There is a dog called Chocolate. Is that right? Or Fudge? Fudge. Yeah, a finger of fudge. No, we won't go there. Right. Brilliant. Okay then, does anybody have any announcements?
No.
None from me.
Nope.
Fantastic. Just to let you know that Curse of Bones will be out shortly. If you're part of the Kickstarter and you've donated to that, then you'll get your rules. Curse of the Bones is the Call of Cthulhu-esque version of Mythras. that is being
Oh,
set
yes.
up. So it's really looking forward to it and seeing how it. I'm currently got my M space, which is the futuristic version of Mythras. I've got a module all ready for that, ready to go as well, where you can be pilots and as in starship pilots and doctors and things like that. I was
Are
thinking
they going to
about
be doing a zombie version of Mythras? Or...
there's two actual extension things that I really like. There's After the Vampire Wars, which are vampires, werewolf, fays. What's that? I'm sure it's the name of a street that's on Netflix. It's like a
What?
box set, and there's also like fays in it and things like that.
Oh, the
Supernatural?
one with, who do you call it in? From
Freddy Krueger, Elm Street.
Carnival Row.
Carnival
Oh, right,
Road,
yes.
that's
Good,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I
Enjoyed
think
that.
of After the Vampire Wars, that sort of like genre, and then Luther Arkwright is when you are time travelers, and you've come from your own element of time. So you could be a futuristic, or you could be a Roman soldier, and you're
So,
actually
what was the role-playing game? Was
Time
it-
Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, Time Master. I had a Greek fighter on there that had athletics. He was so cool. He was unbelievable.
I'm waiting for Lioness to come out.
Oh, yes. And when that comes out, of course, we're going to have a story of it, a game run by Lawrence. Lawrence is going to GM for us. So we get to actually play. And that was on this month's or last month's podcast about that. So he's keen to make that happen. So that should be fun. Okay, then. Yeah, so lots of things in the future. If you're interested in playing Mythras at all, then do get in touch. I'm always willing to start off another game or get it out there, so please do say that. I actually have an adventure done by Matt with the Old Bones publication, which is purely Mythras still. So yeah, it should be absolutely loads of fun. We won't be here next week, but I will be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock for some more Elder Scrolls Online. So do come back and join us then. Until then, can I please remind each and every one of you to please remember to be who you are and say what you think, because the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Have fun, everyone, and we will catch you later. And until then, happy role playing. See you later, people. Bye.
Bye.